Beef bourguignon is the ultimate beef stew recipe. Tender fall-apart chunks of beef simmered in a rich red wine gravy makes this dish an incredible family dinner. Begin with some prep of your ingredients. Use 6 slices of bacon that has been cut into bite-sized pieces and set it aside. Wipe your surface clean with a paper towel and proceed with preparing your carrots. You'll use 3 medium-sized carrots. Peel them and then slice them diagonally, just for an extra visual presentation. Set them aside in a bowl. Now to the star of this dish, Monsieur Beef. Get roughly 3 pounds of good quality meat. You can use brisket or a chuck steak, which is a tougher cut of meat. However, it's perfect for slow cooking. After 2 hours in the oven, it will become fall-apart tender. Slice it in big chunks and season it well with salt and pepper. I also like to use my fingers to rub the seasoning into the meat to coat it all over. Use half a cup of flour and lightly dredge the beef chunks, shaking off the excess. Then you're gonna set it aside as well. For this recipe, a big must is a Dutch oven. You want to choose something oven-proof because this is where we will actually be cooking our stew. So in your Dutch oven, put 1 tablespoon of olive oil and add your bacon. Cook over medium heat, stirring occasionally until crispy. About 6 minutes. When done, strain it with a slotted spoon and place it on a paper towel-lined plate. Now definitely don't clean out the pan. All that bacon grease is what we'll use to cook our vegetables. At this point, add 1 cup of diced onion, or I'm going to use these pearl onions, otherwise called baby onions. Add your carrots as well. Cook the vegetables until they're nice and soft. Using the pearl onions at this stage is a personal preference. The classic recipe requires them at the end when your beef bourguignon is completely cooked. Use the same slotted spoon and drain your vegetables and set them aside. Increase the heat to medium-high and working in batches, add your beef in a single layer, leaving room between each piece. Cook until seared on both sides. Remember, we're not cooking the beef at this point, just browning it, which will allow it to trap all those flavors and become super flavorful and tender. Repeat with the remaining beef. Now we're going to deglaze our pan, and for that we'll use some red wine. Beef bourguignon is typically made with a red Burgundy such as Pinot Noir, Merlot, or Cabernet Sauvignon. You want a red wine that has enough tannins to counter the rich and tender stewed beef. I'm using a good Merlot wine and pouring almost the entire bottle, which makes about 3 cups. Now use a spoon to scrape the bottom of your pan and make sure all of those flavors become incorporated. Another personal preference, because I have children, is I let the wine boil for 3 to 4 minutes. This allows the alcohol to evaporate and we're left with only the flavor of the wine. To the pan, we'll add 3 cups of beef stock. Organic is always preferred. Now if that's a challenge, no worries. A Swanson Beef stock is a perfect choice. To that, add a 1/4 cup of tomato paste, 2 pressed garlic cloves, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of dried thyme, 2 bay leaves, and some freshly ground pepper to taste. Return your vegetables, beef chunks, and bacon to the pan and stir it all to combine. On top, place some fresh thyme sprigs. Cover your pan with the tight-fitting lid and transfer it to a preheated oven at 325 degrees Fahrenheit for 2 hours. Now, when you have 20 minutes left before your 2 hours mark, we're going to prepare the mushrooms. Use some brown or white bella mushrooms, and if they're large like mine, slice them thickly. But if you can find some baby bella mushrooms, just use them whole. Melt 2 ounces of butter on a skillet and saute your mushrooms, stirring occasionally until golden and tender. Your beef bourguignon is done and out of the oven, and I'm getting hungry only from smelling it. Don't forget to fish out your thyme sprig and the 2 bay leaves, and add your sautéed mushrooms. Give it a stir and garnish with 2 tablespoons of chopped parsley. Now let me show you a very simple but very elegant serving of this amazing beef stew. A shallow bowl would be perfect for this presentation. Use a soup ladle or a spoon and scoop out some of that delicious sauce and spread it onto your plate. Then place 2 to 3 tablespoons of mashed potatoes on top, right in the middle. Then use your ladle again and now place some of that beef and vegetables on top of your mashed potatoes. And of course, garnish with some chopped parsley. This is such an elegant high-end restaurant presentation, but it is so simple. Look at this fall-apart tender baked to perfection beef. It is so juicy and flavorful. Beef bourguignon is rich, earthy, and very indulgent. It's simply everything you want in a bowl of winter comfort food. Enjoy, and I'll see you next week.